Okay? Yeah, I also have another one lined up for you too. Yeah. That one I'll give to you when you do get back.
Isn't that something? Two pages.
You want to explain a little bit what this is?
Oh, this is about back in 1980 when
Are you that chronic?
the province
Are you that
and Canada actually was going into,
Let them know that. Let them know that word.
and it had to do with
And since you're not chronic, you gotta
land,
let them know. That young lady might have
environment,
been chronic, or somebody
water,
make them.
and it talks about, this was when Brian Mulroney was in as Prime Minister.
Right.
And this came out of a lot of things, and
or you can disagree with it.
the thing
It's
about
really
it
up to you.
was very scary. It had to do with our water and the people and the lands and farmers and ranchers, anybody that dealt with
really busy here.
animals.
We're really busy. Court
And
tomorrow.
it
that's all I
talk
can
about
tell you.
pipelines,
It's gonna be big.
talk
Remember
about
what you see
hydro,
on the
what they were going to
computer
do to
already
the
on
people.
Facebook?
And on it,
And then
you
it's
know,
going to
honestly, the people are still
Just me
suspecting
and
what the
Uncle.
government
That's
are
home.
doing.
That's home. We
And
live here. We have visitors, but
the two
just
the
two
two
of us
things
live
that,
here.
well, actually the four things that really caught my
Court to
eye
do with,
in reading
Suzanne
this back in
and the children.
1980 was
Yeah, that one's starting going to court tomorrow.
what you
and
can do or
the
what
23rd
to do
and so on and so
as a
forth.
person, as an individual sitting at home. Start reading. We have to block these projects on 4 grounds.
That's next week.
On 4 grounds, only 4. Why cannot we do that?
Okay. Yeah.
That's right.
And it
Okay,
had to
Donovan.
do with
Bye.
environmental damage that's going to be done, and 2, economic diversification to farmers. You know, they're gonna be taken out. The farmers are going to be taken out. The fisheries are going to be taken out, and all of that is going to be gone by all the projects that they implement. And so these people, everybody has to fight this. Now, look at the pipeline today, the pipeline issue with, Prime Minister Trudeau, Justin Trudeau, like his father back in the day, he is still using the white paper of 1969. If you get a hold of it, read it. This is what he's doing to you. Also, the things that are so important to you and your children, actually your children, when they grow up, they're going to face all these four things. They're very simple. You know, if you really like fishing, going hunting, or just outdoors, seeing the different land, different terrain in Canada. This is Canada, they're talking about this. Yeah, sure, there's going to be jobs. And it's not very many jobs. It's not your people in your community is going to have these jobs. Let me tell you, these people are going to be shipped in from other countries to make the pipeline, as they are doing now. And a lot of it, I was in shock when I was reading this back in 1980. I went to a few meetings, that's where this copy came from. And not only that, I don't know why these people, we're following them, and I don't know where they are today, and those people were. They have a phone number here and a fax number, but we phoned that practically every year since 1980. We never heard from them anymore. But we keep telling the people there's only 4 things you gotta watch the government. And that has to do with the four things what to do, what you can do as a person, as a human being, as somebody that cares. You may have the money, you may not have money. You actually don't have to have money to do this. Just put a sign up in your yard saying, hey, you guys, look what this is. You know, this is what Trudeau is doing. He's doing the same thing like his dad was doing back in the 80s.
That's right. And I wanted to ask you a question. What is this? And who is this guy?
Well, this is Roger Williams.
Roger Williams.
Yeah, he's one of the chiefs of the Chilcotin. He was.
I think you could hold it in the light so we could show the people out there what he's all about.
But on this matter here, before I go into that other one, it's so very important. Our hereditary chiefs and families have been following this ever since I can remember. Even before, prior to 1980, prior to this November 93 to February 94. This is when we got a hold of this copy, and it's very important that the young people do understand what is happening to that part in 1969's white paper. That's what Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is doing. He's following in the path of his father, Pierre Elliott Trudeau. And on that part, I would like the buckskin jacket that was made for Pierre Elliott Trudeau. He was in Williams Lake at one time, and my husband's mother made a buckskin jacket for Pierre Elliott Trudeau then. I would like that jacket back. Traditionally in the Chilcotin, when you die, you return all that stuff that was given to you. That is the reason I want that jacket back for my husband to use. And anyway, this person, Roger Williams, is charged with, in August 31st, 2017, he was charged with, they call it interference, sexual interference, just to be really light. Well, to me, sexual interference of a young child, a 13-year-old, to me that means she was raped. So he, 14. But at that time, this young girl, she's our family. She's a Montgomery. We are Stump people. Our last name is Stump, but our ancestors, my great-grandmother, her name was Montgomery before she married. So I'm really upset.
And he was supposed to be the main...
He was just given the position of honey, they needed a person, like the courts need a person's name. And he was the only one at that time available and knew exactly what was going on. So all the chiefs decided to use his name. He is on name only. He is basically just a federal chief, a conflict of interest to the hereditary chief and families. This is what this man is. You can read it.
Yeah. But he's
He's charged, and this next court date is going to be in August, I think. Well, you can look it up, Freedom of Information.
would you trust him?
No. No, I don't trust him because what he did to the hereditary chief and families in 2014, or was 2016, we're going to court for our children and our families and all the people that are needing help. That's what Chilcotin National Congress does. And that is when he interfered. He interfered with his case that's called, in the Chilcotin we call it Nikaini Dani Accord. He went after us in a lower case with that case. And I'm telling you, I don't know why the judges down there, whether it was a lower case or, but those kind of things are not supposed to happen. And they allowed Roger to do that in April 2014.
That's unbelievable.
So that we dealt with, and a couple of our workers from there on were sent. Our person that was working with us, Charles Bryfocal, was working with us, and they sent him to jail for 21 days. But I intervened as Justice Minister for the Chilcotin National Congress. I went in and I asked one of the staff to write up a letter and send it to the government, to whoever will listen. And I said, on that paper, I said, for each day that you hold him, it's going to cost you $1 million. And on the seventh day, they let him go. They put him in there for 21 days. And he's a diabetic. And I could only imagine, and I was terrified that he wasn't going to make it out of there.
Wow.
So there's a lot of things that's tied in with this character that's going to court in August again. And between our children and families case, they stopped our case. We had a 4-day going to court for children and families for this Chilcotin National Congress. Wednesday, I remember this day so clearly. They stopped the cases, everything. And that one day on a Wednesday, he had to go in and listen to what he was charged with.
What do you think of Joe Alphonse? Is he okay?
I don't think Joe Alphonse is doing what he's supposed to do, because as Chilcotin National Congress, he hasn't sat down with us or been honest with us whatsoever. He's acting on his own. And because of what's going on with Roger Williams as one of the chiefs of the Chilcotin National Congress, thinks and feels that, for myself, I feel that Joe is not behaving the way he should be behaving to the people. He has no consent from nobody. Out in the Chilcotin, none of the chiefs have any consent. And on one of the issues, this is what I learned from listening to Justin Trudeau, that there has to be consent from the people. But they run to the meetings without consent. And right now, the Chilcotin Dani Accord right now is being handled by probably 2-3 lawyers. I don't know. But we don't know who these people, what they are doing with our title case. They have not come and showed their face or even sit down and say, okay, this is how far we're doing this and that. Nobody can live on that. Because they don't know us. They don't know how we live. They don't know our land. And these are the type of people Roger and Joey and the rest of the Chilcotin chiefs put together. In secret. A lot of stuff is done in secret. No human being is going to live in secret. They need to live, be happy
That's right.
who they are.